Hi family, welcome to and it's a very beautiful Sunday for me here in the city of Just. I don't know where you are, but it's so good to see you again. I don't know how your service went today, but my service was fantastic. Congratulations, by the way. We have made it through half of the year 2025 and looking forward to the next half. And you know how it is, even in the game of football, the second half is always my favorite because everybody brings their A game in the second half. So the second half is meant for you to progress and to move forward and advance in places that you did not succeed in the first half. And I don't want you to look back at the first 6 months and tell yourself, well, I didn't really I really missed a lot, or I didn't do some of the things I wanted to do, or I'm halfway through my year, and half of the things that I planned to do, I have been unable to do them. Now guess what? You are somewhere beautiful right now in your life, and I just want you to stay focused. Put yourself in a place where you tell yourself that the rest of this year I'm bringing it. I'm going to bring it, and when you bring it, I promise you that the year will end in praise for you. And for the rest of us, I believe that that the second half is very promising for those of us who are believers. There's a place in the Bible where it says, he crowns our year with great success. So this second half is that great success part, is that great success phase. So put your A game on, give it your best, because the remaining 6 months, I promise you, are going to be phenomenal. You're going to be seeing things that you have never seen before. You're going to be hearing things you've never heard before. You're going to be seeing discoveries. You're going to be seeing people doing phenomenal things. You're going to hear people's testimonies. It's going to be crazy. And somebody asked me, how do I know? I know because I know who the coach for the second half is. And as long as we have that coach on our side, trust me, the game is only going to get better. Anyway, welcome back to EX-HALE Online. We've been talking about break the pattern now for a couple of weeks, and it's been an exciting topic for me that I think I'm going to spill over into the month of July, but we're going to take it from a different phase, because I got a little video that I was sent, by my father, and I watched that video, and I told him, I was like, oh wow, we're going to talk about this, because some of the things I saw in that video are some of the unhealthy patterns that we have been encountering, and I'll be taking it from a different angle from the month of July. But we want to try and see how we can rush through the last part, which we started on signs on Wednesday. So we're going to try to rush through signs and consequences, and then probably brush through, how to, break those patterns. We'll just give you some tips, but it's really up to you to make up your mind to break the pattern. Don't forget what some of our past speakers have been saying. They hinted in whenever I ask how would you break a certain pattern, you would always hear one consistent thing: by renewing your mind. So everything starts from here. It starts from the mind. So once the mind is renewed, every other thing is possible. So I want you to have that at heart first and foremost. If you have a pattern that you've been working on breaking for a season now, and you've been following this series, start with your mind. And some of the tips that have already been given, replacing a pattern with another pattern. If you find an unhealthy pattern, find the healthy version, or find a healthy pattern and replace it. So these are some of the things that we'll talk about when we get to how to break the patterns. But for now, we are going to touch on the signs, and then we're going to move from there. So we talked about repeating the same mistakes despite the consequences. And some people's lives are like in a loop. Have you ever seen that, where they keep making the same mistakes in relationship, the same mistakes academically, the same mistake in business ideas, it's just the same mistakes, and you wonder why they keep doing that, especially when they know that when they tried it that way the first time, it didn't work. Maybe you were in a relationship, you tried it in a certain way, you noticed it didn't work, and you try to do it again in the next relationship to see if that other person would cooperate, and you find out that it's just like a loop. Find out that you are going in, you know, it's a comedy that I used to watch back then, and you know, where Will Smith, Carlton, and the dad, you know, are going camping, and they're just driving, and then Will says, you know, I mean, it's weird, but we've passed this tree 40 times, and the dad keeps on, nope, I mean, we know what we're doing, we're going. But you see, so some people are like that. You've been passing the same thing over and over again, but you keep telling yourself, no, I'm on track. Look, if you keep passing the same road and you notice you're not getting to your destination, you are on the wrong track. It's time to stop, retrace your step, and move to a different pace, right? So, repeating the same mistakes, you know, like somebody would say, if you want a different result, you know, you have to try something. You can't keep doing the same thing and expect the same a different result. I can't just keep you know, cheating in business, you know, defrauding people in business, and expect that my business is going to bloom if I've been doing it over time and it's not working. How about try the honest truth about it? Maybe if I tried doing the business sincerely, and I would get a different outcome. So repeating the same mistakes, look at it. What are those same things that you do? And you know, I'm very passionate about people who are, you know, youths especially, who are seeing themselves in certain trends, and you are finding out that these trends keep bringing you nothing but pain, frustration, you know, and you keep telling yourself that, look, I'm going to try, maybe if I do it one more time, but, you know, I know that. And sometimes what we do is we do the same thing, we just try to change the pattern just a little bit, but it's still the same thing we're doing. So repeating the same mistakes over and over again is a sign that you are on an unhealthy pattern, and it's time for you to stop and try something different so that you can get a different pattern. Hallelujah. So feeling stuck or powerless, you know, you find yourself, I don't know about you, but I've been in a place where, you know, I keep seeing myself in a particular place at a certain period of my life, and I just felt like I'm not going anywhere, right? It's one thing to be in a loop because you're just going round. Then there's another thing for you to just go, and you're just stuck in that place. You are stuck in that habit. You're stuck in that that school of thought that has kept you bound in a specific place. You're not advancing, you know, you're just stagnant. And stagnancy is a sign of lack of growth. And anything that is not progressing, definitely, as far as I'm concerned, is nothing that is healthy, because everything in life progresses. Everything. And if it progresses, it only means that you have moved from one level to another level. So if you're not moving and you're stuck in a particular place, you're stuck in a particular relationship that you have told yourself over time that, well, if I leave, what are the odds that I'm going to find somebody? I might as well just stay here and just endure this beating, or just stay here and endure, you know, the narcissistic behavior, or just stay here and endure the lack of companionship with my partner. Or if it's business, I'm just stuck here. I'm not enjoying the job. I am working in a company. I am not enjoying it. I know that I'm better than this. I know that I'm bigger than this, but something keeps telling me I can't take that move. What if I fail? What if? Because I used to have this fear of failure before, right? So every time something big wants to happen and I'm about to take a major decision, I always come and I always tell myself, what if it does not go right? My question is, what if it does? You know, so you will never know until you decide to break that place of, look, I am stagnant, and just advance. Advance, move forward. Don't allow yourself be stuck in a place. Move forward, be progressive, Allow yourself to conquer that fear and take that step. Because like they say, what is fear? False evidence appearing real, right? So it's not really there. Your fear don't really exist. It only exists in your mind. That's why everybody would say start by renewing your mind. If you can deal with your mind and tell your mind that it's all up here but it's not real, you'll be able to summon up that courage to take that bold step. And that's what most of us need right now, that courage to just take a step and break out of that thing that has kept us in that particular place for too long. The third thing would be experiencing chronic dissatisfaction, and distress. And this has happened to me quite a lot, in my lifetime, where you do something over time and there is no satisfaction. Well, in this, I would probably say relationship. I'm not going to tilt towards marriage because, marriage is a whole different ballgame. But, in a relationship where you're in a relationship and you are there and you just know that you're just not satisfied. You just know that you could do better, right? And you are coping with the disrespect. You're coping with the insults. You're coping with the lies. You're coping with the cheating. And you're just telling yourself, you know what? Why am I really here? Why am I in this place right now? And you're doing, again, I would use a job because I know that there are quite a lot of people who are working in jobs that they are not happy about. They are not contented. The dissatisfaction is just there. They know that they are bigger than this. They know that they are better than this, and they know, but they just are afraid to get out because of the security of earning a salary. Now, a salary is good. I mean, at the end of the month or at the end of the week or at the end of the day, you have something that is waiting for you. But I always tell you people that you can sit in a job that pays you 500,000. Whether it's dollars, whether it's naira, whatever, but you're being paid 500. And then there is a gift that's on the inside of you that is desperate to find expression, that if you go out and you express that gift and find yourself doing that gift, at some point in your life, that gift may earn you that same amount in a second or in an hour. I've seen people walk into offices or conferences and deliver just a 1-hour lecture and walk away with more than the people who are sitting there receiving the lectures in that same company at the end of the month. So it's all about what you're feeling. Are you satisfied with what you have right now? And when I say satisfied, some people have a very good thing going for them, but they just want more. They just want more. You can't blame them. You can't take it away from them. It's just who they are. They know that I'm made for more. I am created for more. I believe there's so much more on the inside of me. And that is probably why I pushed myself to go online and do my broadcast, because I know that, yes, that there's something on the inside of me that is yearning to find expression. And I am tired of being stuck just, living the average business life and doing up and down. But I know that there is something on the inside of me that when I do, I find joy, I find peace, and it gives me so much satisfaction. So are you doing something that does not give you satisfaction? You might want to check it and be very, very critical about it, right? Oh wow, this is the part that most people really do not like. When people tell you that what you're doing is unhealthy, that is a major sign that you have or you are in an unhealthy pattern of life. And I have come to discover that one of the things that people hate in this generation is the truth about themselves. People don't like being called out on their issues. They don't like being called out on their mistakes. They don't like being called out on their weaknesses or their hidden behaviors or patterns that would look right. For the best example ever, you're in a relationship with someone and that person is cheating, or you've seen the signs. It's so glaring, the person's leaving it, and you just decide, okay, you know what? I want to talk to you. I've noticed this and I've noticed that and I've noticed this. And it's not unfamiliar because the last time you did this with this and this and this and this, you were cheating on me. And, before that, this was what you did. And guess what happens? Wow, No, what do you mean? You're so disrespectful. You're so this, you're so that. And people are very quick to calling disrespect or feeling abused or feeling insulted when people are trying to make you open your eyes and recognize that you are in an unhealthy loop, an unhealthy pattern for your life that you need to quickly address before that situation takes over you. And I wish we would be in a world where we would sit down and inhale healthy criticism, because oftentimes it's just to help you do better. Have you been with someone, a friend, a parent? I remember years ago when my daughter was in her early teens, and I was talking to her and I was telling her about mistakes I've made, and I was trying to tell her, I'm trying to get you to avoid making these mistakes. If you do this, you do this, you do this. I am seeing it. I can recognize these patterns, and I'm trying to tell you, jump it, because if you don't, you're going to fall into that pit. And I remember her getting all upset, and saying things like, well, you made your mistakes, allow me make mine, and all that. Now, fast forward years later, we're sitting down, we're having conversations. We're like, oh my God, you would never know that mom was trying to give me the best advice, and she was trying to tell me this is what you're supposed to do, and this is how you're supposed to do it, and this is how you can become a better person. And now I know better, and the same lectures I'm giving her, she's giving her younger sister, and so forth and so forth. So oftentimes when you're being told, rather than look at it that, oh, this person is just trying to control me, this person is just trying to, look at it from a different way. Look at it as that person really loves you enough to want you to do better. And they are telling you that, oh my God, this cigarette smoke is going to kill you. This alcohol you're taking is going to do this. Womanizing, this jumping around from one guy to another is going to destroy you. And don't look at it as someone who is hating. No, they're not hating. Sometimes they're just telling you the truth. And sometimes the truth can be very, very painful, and in times past, I've been told some truth, and sometimes it's really hard to swallow, especially when you sit down and you try to process what the person is trying to say. But if you look at it at the long run, you will discover that this person only means well, and this person really wants only the best for you. Oh my God. Feeling guilty or regretful. I think we've all had a period in our life where we were doing certain things that we knew were not right, or we knew were unhealthy, we knew were wrong. And when you're doing it, there's that guilt, there's that shame at the end of it, but you're not going to want to tell anybody about it. For instance, if you're the type that jumps up and down from one bed to another, or bringing people to your bed, one girl after another, you could form, oh, I'm the man, I'm doing it, I have the right to do what I'm doing, oh, I'm single, I can do whatever I want, oh, and you as a lady could say, well, nobody has put a ring on it, nobody can control me, I know what I'm doing. You can do all that. But you and I both know that when the doors are locked and the lights go out, you're sitting in your room shedding tears, or you are looking back at your life and you are looking at it like, oh boy, I am a mess, right? Because, you can't be with too many people having sex up and down, and you're with so many people at a go, and you're telling yourself that, oh, I'm the man or I'm the woman. No. That's an unhealthy pattern that's going to land you to destruction. Because like I always tell my kids, I remember when I was guiding my daughters when they were young, and I was talking to them about sex, and I told them the truth. I said, look, this is what sex does, this is what sex is, this is what sex is. However, the least of your problem is getting pregnant. What about sickness? What about disease? What about, recently there's a video that says even using condom at the long run, because of the latex that is covered on the condom, is something that would affect you in the long run. And so these things are habits that we find ourselves, or patterns that we find ourselves all locked into. And honestly, I'm more worried about this generation because I see it rampantly. It's so crazy. Young ladies, jumping from one bed after the other because of money. You want to be with an udogu, so you jumping from one bed to another. And then guys, all of a sudden, because you feel you came into some little money, boom, you're jumping from one girl to another, and you're not even looking at the long run, the value that they're taking from you, because for everyone you are with, you're dropping a little part of you inside, and they're taking it along with them, and they're depositing certain things. So some parts of you are going, and you're not worried about that. You're there, you're lying, you're cheating in a company, you're stealing money from the company account. You know it's wrong, but everybody's doing it. Are you everybody? If you look within yourself, do you know what it's going to do? Especially, I feel bad that there was a story I got to hear about somebody, who stole money from an account, and it was traced to somebody else, and that person was jailed, and that person was lost their job, and this person was still working in the company, knowing fully well that this is me that did this. And you know what, they had to chill on the stealing, but again, somebody's life was destroyed because of you, and it took them time to begin before they owned up and they came out. But guess what? You've taken valuable time of somebody else's life by getting them locked up. You had them go through an embarrassment that they shouldn't have gone through, and we feel it's okay. So I want us to sit down and look at certain actions that we do. We know the truth. We know what we're doing is wrong, because you cannot do something wrong. Because I'm not of the opinion that people do not know when they're doing wrong, right? If you're doing something wrong, you know it. You feel it in your gut. Even if you're trying to tell yourself that it's not wrong. You go, your husband is giving you money for food stuff, and you're taking it out, and you're taking it huge chunk and dripping it out at the expense of what your family is going to feed for a whole month, and you are not feeling bad only because you want to wear a dress and impress people who do not really give a damn about you in the first place. I want us to sit down. Look, you can't tell me that when you sit down and you're looking at your child come home and she's like, oh, I'm hungry, and there's not, what you did. You're responsible for why it's not there, because you're wearing what they should have been eating. And the list is endless. The list is endless. Your friend introduces you to her girlfriend or to her boyfriend, and you go behind them and you are asking them out, or you're sleeping with them. You don't tell me, she doesn't. You know what you're doing. You know it's not right. And you can't tell me that you don't feel an ounce of guilt when you're alone. And that alone should tell you that what you're doing is wrong. The pattern is wrong, and you need to stop it before it stops you. Because most of the time, unhealthy patterns have a way of stopping us along the way if we do not stop them. So I want us to really sit down and look back and all that. And then very quickly, I have like 7 minutes to run through this, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to jump finish this and then get into breaking the unhealthy patterns by Wednesday and be done with this day, so that we could start looking at it from another perspective in the month of July, where we'll be addressing specific habits and thinking of how to help people break them, because there's so many, and I don't even know which one to touch and which one to leave behind. Consequences of unhealthy patterns. Number one would be your personal well-being, stress, anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, because these are consequences of unhealthy patterns, because they leave you in a place where you begin to doubt yourself. Most of us are unhappy when we find ourselves, because like I said, some people can't help it. There are habits that they learned right from when they were young. So these habits have grown, and they have found expression as adults in the most nasty ways, in terms of, some of them are mental disorders, because they affect your relationship with people. They affect your mental health being and all that. So when you sit down and you're looking at yourself, you're anxious, because I know that there are times that when you do something wrong, I don't know, one of the things I detest most in my life are lies. I hate it so much. And there was a situation where I had to find myself, and I was trying to tell a lie, and I was so uncomfortable. I was so nervous. I was out of place. And the reason is because it's not something I'm used to doing. And so I was anxious. I was uncomfortable, you know, and it was only a matter of time. I had to come out and just say, you know what, I am sorry. This is what I told you was not true. This is it, and this is it. Because I always feel doing the right thing is just the best. There's just a way you feel good about yourself. Healthy patterns, you sleep well, you eat right. Your doctor has told you to stop eating red meat, to stop eating that. Yes, somebody says, oh, really? Is that too? Yes, that too. So you might be thinking, okay, mine, I've got it. I don't cheat on my wife. I don't cheat on my husband. I don't steal in my job. I don't do this. I don't do that. But when your doctor tells you, don't take this, it's not good for you. Where you are in your life right now, you need to stop alcohol. You need to stop eating oily foods. You need to stop taking salt. And you go back home and you're like, they bring the meat and you're like, oh, come on, grill that thing in oil, put it in. And what are you doing? You're cheating, because you know what you're doing is unhealthy. You know it's not right. But then at the end of the day, your body begins to tell you the truth. So stress, anxiety, depression, I don't know, I've been in a state of depression, and that's, like I said, when you repeat some certain patterns that you know are not healthy. For instance, like for me, I think at some point it was the relationship I was in at the time, you know, I was tired of being in that particular place, and it was affecting my mental state and my mental behavior, and which brought about anxiety and eventually led to depression. And it took me a lot to fight that depression and get myself out. So thank you, Caleb Khalil, for watching, and thank you for all those who are also viewing. I appreciate every one of you. And I want you to know that depression is something that is very, 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 very serious. Depression can lead to suicide. Depression can lead to people taking their lives. So I take it very, very seriously. And some of the unhealthy patterns we live, like I said, the kind of thoughts, what kind of thoughts come into your mind? Do you tell yourself you're not good enough because you've heard it so many times? You feel so rejected. You feel so dejected that your voice telling you you are no good is louder than, you believing the good in you. You know, I have this very, very dear friend, you know, very dear friend that I love a lot. And this person, you know, had this habit of always looking at the mirror and, you know, was always talking about the tummy, oh, my tummy is out, my tummy. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, are you kidding me? You look great. And the person was putting themselves under due process. I don't know what that said. I wish you would see what I see with my eyes and stop looking at it from, because sometimes, you know, somebody's looking at the mirror and they're telling themselves, I'm not pretty enough, I'm ugly, I'm too fat, oh, I'm too skinny, oh, look at my nose, I don't like my nose, oh, look at this and that. Look, you can't change. Well, in this generation you can change anything, I think, with plastic surgery. But I mean, this is how God created you, and God does not make mistakes. If he did that, he did it for a reason. And if you look beautiful just the way you are, and if you accept yourself the way you are, trust me, you begin to feel good about yourself. You begin to find yourself enjoying yourself, and that joy, you know, people see it. People just look at you sometimes, they're like, what's up with you? You're just glowing. No, it's not glowing. I looked at the mirror and I discovered, wow, you're a very beautiful woman. And I keep telling myself that. Have I been in situations where I didn't feel good enough? I didn't. Oh God, maybe if I was just a little bit fairer or this or that. But then I've had people tell me, I love your skin color. And it took me time to look at my skin color and tell me, oh my God, you have a flawless skin color. And if you ask me now to trade it and become white or light skin, no, I am good the way I am, and I love it. And God knew why he made me dark skin, and I'm just rocking it, right? So if we begin to look at ourselves in that manner, we can begin to fight self-esteem. We can begin to fight depression, which is a major issue, because it leads to mental disorder. And I can't tell you how bad it is now, because what I see now is we have a lot of people going through mental issues. They don't even know it. So I want us to just sit down and look at it and think about it, right? Another thing would be relationships. Oh my God. I have one more second, so I'm just going to talk about relationship introduction, and then I'll kick off from relationship on Wednesday. Relationship is one of the most unhealthy patterns that I see people finding themselves in. You know, when you find yourself attracting specific type of people, abusers, manipulators, cheats, you know, liars, and you keep finding yourself in that loop, what do you do? Right? What do you do? What do you tell yourself? And I'm going to leave you with that question. And if you have an answer to that question, please drop it in the comment section. I would really be glad to hear your thoughts on that. And by the way, somebody suggested we take this to YouTube page. So guess what? I am now on YouTube. So go and click on EX-HALE Online with Poavi on YouTube. Please like, subscribe, and share. I mean, we have just a few videos up there, but as they progress, you will see them. So please like, share, and make your girl take her message to a larger audience. I'll be really glad if you would support me on that. And gradually we'll be taking it also to TikTok and Instagram. But for now, we're here and we're on YouTube. So again, it's online, EX-HALE Online with Poavi on YouTube. Please go there, subscribe, like, share, drop a comment if you can, and I'll be glad. And then of course, if you have any observations, if you have a question, or you are going through something and you just need someone to talk to, please slide into my DM. I am here for you. That's why I'm here. That's what I do. It's something I love. It gives me satisfaction. It gives me joy to be that shoulder that you can lean on. So I look forward to seeing you. But next time I see you will be in the month of July, by the grace of God. Tomorrow will be the 30th of June, and we'll be skipping over to another second phase in the year. And I am so excited for that, and I can't wait to see that. So till I see you on Wednesday by 5:30 again, we will kick off from where we stopped. It's your girl Poavi signing out and saying, I love you. Be the reason why somebody smiles and not take their life. God bless you, and I love you. Have a wonderful week ahead.